Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are going to be live reacting to Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 18, In Sickness and Suspicion. So we are back in Colorado with Chloe and Michael, and this is day 7 of marriage. So although we are on day 7 of marriage with Michael and Chloe, they are a little bit behind the other couples because they met later than the other couples. They got married later than the other couples. So they got married, immediately went on their honeymoon, and right after the honeymoon, they were already having to go on the couples retreat with the other couples. And so now they are really just coming back to the apartment for the first time. And basically what we have here is Chloe and Michael kind of discussing, okay, what's going to happen next. And they're both talking about they both have dogs. And so they are talking about, when they're going to get their dogs and what's going to happen. And Chloe is actually saying, that her dogs are a little bit older and a little bit more clingy. So she's thinking that she's going to have to spend some time with her dogs, possibly away from Michael. I feel kind of bad for Michael because this is technically his second marriage on the show. Well, the first one didn't really go through, and so they later matched him with Chloe. And now Chloe seems to be pulling away just a little bit. But Michael seems to be all in, like he really wants to be married and he is highly interested in Chloe. Now, Chloe is saying, she's an introvert. She needs a little time to process and to be alone. And of course, Michael is being very supportive. He wants her to do whatever she needs to do for her. But then again, in the back of his mind, of course, he's feeling like, do you not want to hang out with me? Is it me? Quite honestly, I don't understand why, couples come on Married at First Sight and they immediately get back to the living arrangements, back to normal life, and then they don't want to spend time with the person that they're married to. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity for them to get to know each other. I know for sure that Michael is interested in Chloe, but what I'm unsure about is if Chloe is actually interested in Michael. And let me say this, Michael is very attractive and Chloe is as well. And honestly, so far, Michael seems like a really good guy. He seems to be a really great match. So as Chloe is in the confessional, she is talking about the fact that she's given a lot of thought as to whether she does need to go home and spend time alone or if she should stay with Michael. And she really doesn't understand why she feels like she's pulling back. She realizes that she is pulling back and she doesn't understand that. It is unfortunate because Chloe does realize that Michael is everything that she would ever want in a person, and now she's feeling like she's pulling back. I feel bad for Michael. He seems like such a great guy, and unfortunately, he has just been dealt a terrible hand in this season of Married at First Sight. And now we are moving on to Becca and Austin, and it is 12 days until decision day. So Becca has actually gone back to her own apartment now because when her and Austin were at the sanctuary, he was in the gift shop and he was buying some gifts and she was trying to help him. And apparently he did not want the help. And he kind of mumbled something up under his breath, which she says that he tends to do from time to time. And then she goes on to say that, they were on the drive home and it was a lot more miscommunication. And he had been admitting that over the past week, he had been concerned about whether or not they would work. And she is definitely devastated about this and in tears. She really is into Austin. Austin, however, has not been into her in the way that she needs him to be. To a certain extent, he has been into her, but it's very high level. And almost, I'm thinking, is it for the cameras at this point? Because off camera, there seems to always be some type of tension or what have you between the two of them. So as he is mentioning that, he's had these second thoughts over the past couple of weeks, it's hard for her to hear because she's trying to figure out, well, why haven't you said anything in the past couple of weeks? Becca is really crying out for help at this point. She really does need the professionals to step in, Dr. Pepper, to step in and help them, give them some counseling, which is what they're there for. But we really do not see them as much as we need to see them, especially for this couple. This couple really needs it. Now we're going over to Emily and Brennan, and it is 11 days until decision day. Now, so we all know that what happened in the previous episode was there was an accident during the couples retreat that Emily had to go to the hospital for. And prior to that accident happening, Brennan and Emily's relationship had not been on the best of terms. They didn't agree on anything. They were constantly at each other. But for whatever reason, the accident seemed to have pulled them a little bit closer together. Brennan has definitely stepped up to the plate. He was there with her the entire time, as he should be. I mean, we would expect that of anybody. So I'm really glad to know that Brennan actually stepped up to be with Emily when she needed him the most. Now we're back in the shared apartment with Austin and Becca, and apparently they're getting ready to meet with the experts. Good. The experts need to be here to kind of help them get through some things. And so as they're waiting, Becca says, that she's just going to rest right there on the couch until the experts get there. And Austin says, well, can I nestle in behind you? And she's like, what? And he says, can I lay my head on you? And she's like, no, basically, I'm good. No, because every time she has asked for some level of intimacy, Austin has definitely not been there. So I agree, Becca. Please, no, don't touch me now. And again, you have to wonder, is part of that for the cameras? Because apparently when the cameras are not there, he's not the same. And the experts show up, and it is Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal. Okay, so this is double duty right here. So this is about to be something. Now, in the confessional, Austin is saying that things have been kind of spiraling, so to speak, over the last couple of weeks. Just the little things that's really getting to him about Becca. So that's really interesting to hear, because before I hadn't noticed him mentioning anything like that. So, yeah. So, of course, Dr. Pepper starts out and she's saying, from their point of view, everything has been really good because the cameras are picking up what they've been portraying. However, it's when the cameras are gone, that's the problem with this couple. And so now they are expressing, Becca and Austin are expressing, it's really the communication that has gone downhill at this point. So Becca brings up the situation where she was trying to help him with the bag, and he's basically saying, okay, well, her version of the story is a little bit different from mine. And he goes on to explain that he feels like she was trying to micromanage him in that situation. So Becca goes on to say that, he told her directly that I don't like to be told what to do. And her reaction is that she feels like she's being rejected by some of the conversations that they've had. Not just conversation, but she also feels rejected when she's tried to flirt. Now, most of the season, most of the time that they have been married, she has been trying to get him to be intimate with her, and he has not yet. And they are almost at decision day, and we are really unsure what the problem is with Austin. We can't figure out if he's just not attracted to her, if there's another problem, if he's into her at all, if he's into women. I mean, so many things are, coming up. It's like, she's unsure. We're unsure at this point because they are both attractive people, and they do seem to have some level of care about each other. But for whatever reason, they have not been able to connect on an intimate level at this point. We're almost at decision day. So tell me, guys, what do you think is the situation with Becca and Austin? Do you think that Austin just isn't physically attracted to her enough? He seems very loving sometimes. He loves to give her little pecks on the lips and cuddle with her, but Anything more than that, he's not interested in doing. So tell me, what do you think? So Pastor Cal says, can I interject? Because, again, Becca is going on about feeling rejected by Austin. And so Pastor Cal is saying, this is fixable. And Austin said, is it? Like, is it for real? So Austin continues to say, her wanting to be intimate has definitely snowballed into other areas. She continues to say, off camera, you're somebody completely different than you are on camera. And basically he's saying, it's a time and a place for everything. And being on camera, we know that's not real. So he's telling you right there, Becca, that what's not on camera is his true feelings. And you have to believe someone when they tell you that. Becca feels like she's going crazy at this point. And Austin is sitting here as if, he's frustrated as well. And I guess I can see that on both sides, the level of frustration. They are definitely not on the same page with this. But again, on one hand, he does seem like he cares about her. He's just not ready to be intimate. Is it that he's not ready to be intimate? He doesn't want to be intimate, or he can't be intimate? Now that's the question. He can't be intimate. Which one is it? What do y'all think? And I just want to make a point here as I'm watching the episode and they are talking to the experts, and Becca is bawling her eyes out. Like, I can tell she is losing it. Like, she is so hurt over this whole situation. And Austin is not trying to console her one bit. Now, if you have any level of care for, especially in this case, your wife, your girlfriend, whomever you are dating, and your significant other is bawling their eyes out to the experts, and you're not going to even rub their leg, you're not going to hold their hand, you're not going to rub their back, nothing. I don't know. I mean, show some level of concern. Some level of concern, Austin. So as Becca is, pouring her heart out, she's talking about when they were at the retreat and how Austin actually, instead of spending the night with her in the room, he wanted to sleep in a separate room, which was a celebrity football player. They don't say who it is on the show. I don't know who it is, but he wanted to sleep in that room. And as opposed to sleeping in the bed with Becca after he had promised some physical intimacy with her during the retreat. Now, first things first, if y'all can't get it on at home, what makes y'all think y'all gonna do it in a house full of people that y'all really just met? That's number one. So nevertheless, Pastor Cal asked, was there drinking involved? And Austin says, yes, there was. And Becca said, but that's not an excuse. Matter of fact, it should have made Austin just feel a little bit better and a little more at ease to be able to do what he needed to do. I do agree with Becca. It is not an excuse. And Dr. Pepper goes on to say, if nothing else, you did not put Becca first in that moment. You going to that other bedroom to sleep in a celebrity football player's bed at the Airbnb you guys were staying at, you didn't put Becca first. And he says, I admit it was a mistake. Of course. I mean, but you have to be able to look past these things, Austin, and realize who really comes first. Even if you say you were quote unquote drunk in that moment, no, I really feel like the alcohol should have made you really want to spend more time with your wife. So Dr. Pepper say, did you apologize for leaving her on that night? And he said, yeah, I did. And Becca said, only because you were prompted to by a producer. And he is like, he's feeling like, okay, but I still apologize. But no, it's not really. Is it really an apology if somebody has to tell you to apologize? I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. So Dr. Pepper is now posing the question to Becca. Can you see now that he is truly sorry for what happened that night? Do you believe him? Now, my personal opinion is no, you shouldn't believe him, because again, I don't think he's sorry for what happened because he did what he wanted to do that night, and that was sleep in another man's bed. So Becca goes on to say, I might can accept the apology. I might can believe him, but the problem is this continues to happen every single time that we try to be intimate with one another. Something always happens. He always goes somewhere else. Like something always happens. And Dr. Pepper says, let's try to prioritize intimacy. And we all know that this is not going to happen. Dr. Pia has already tried to get them to get it popping. And we all know that it didn't happen then. It's not going to happen now. Do you know why? Because Austin is either not physically attracted to her or something is not right. Something is not right with him. Maybe he's just not interested in her, her physical person, or her as a woman. We're not sure. Or maybe he just can't. He may want to, but maybe he can't. We just don't know. And all of this is just alleged and for entertainment purposes, by the way. And Austin is being very adamant that he is trying to be intimate with her, but he feels like whenever he tries, it's not good enough. We don't know. Of course, the cameras are not going to be there during that time. So we don't know what he has tried, and if she has, he said that she's not responded, or she said, okay, what else you got, basically. So he's feeling, I believe he's feeling a little bit rejected on his side as well. So Dr. Calvin just puts it all on the line and says, Becca, do you want this relationship? Is there something here worth fighting for? And Becca is being honest. She's saying, up until this past week, she has wanted it very bad, but the past week has been very difficult for her. And Pastor Cal says, don't judge the entire relationship off of what happened over the past week. And now Dr. Pepper chimes in and she says, because you are very emotional right now, maybe we should not be talking about making a decision at this moment. I kind of agree with that. Like, let cooler heads prevail. Wait until you are both level-headed and can make a clear, conscious decision before you say, yes, I want this, or no, I don't. And Austin is really trying to let Becca know, and the experts know too, that he really does want the relationship with her. He is really trying. At this point, he feels like he is walking on eggshells. He feels like, it does, like he said, whatever I do is not good enough. So why try anything? She doesn't like whatever I'm trying to do. Now, Pastor Cal is saying that, he feels like it's not about the bedroom. I have to disagree. For Becca at this point, it is about the bedroom for her, because she feels rejected in that area. And because she feels rejected in that area, it is kind of bleeding into other areas of their relationship. She needs to feel like he wants her, and she doesn't feel like that. He needs to feel like whatever he's doing is good for her, and he doesn't feel that way. So I think this really is a bedroom situation. They need a different type of counseling in this situation. Day 8 of marriage with Chloe and Michael. So Michael is in the shared apartment alone because Chloe did decide to go ahead home to her living space and spend time with her puppies versus spending time with her husband, and trying to figure out what it is that is making her want to pull apart. So yeah, Michael is here with his dog Mello in the shared apartment, which Chloe, if she wants to spend time with her puppies, could bring her puppies over, and they can all spend time together. Well, introduce the puppies in an open setting, because we all know what happens when introducing these puppies happen. I mean, it's not always good, but be in a neutral space, open setting, and go from there. But I really think that Chloe needs to spend time in the shared apartment with her husband to get to know him better. 9 days until decision day. And we are back with Brennan and Emily. Again, Brennan is really taking good care of Emily. She woke up wanting some burgers. He went and got her some burgers. Of course, we're not seeing anything but good moments between them two right now, which is a complete change from what we were seeing before. I mean, we really thought that decision day was going to be a while ago, but the accident really sparked something. And honestly, I feel a lot better about Brennan. And I hope that, I hate that it was an unfortunate event that happened to make them get to this point in their relationship. But I'm really glad that Brennan is being a lot sweeter to her. Day 10 of marriage with Chloe and Michael. So again, instead of Chloe spending time with Michael, she is actually having lunch with one of her friends, and she's just catching her friend up on what's been going on between her and Michael. Now, I will say a lot of seasons we hear the same comment about, a lot of the people going through this process and saying, you know it's going to be a lot, but until you do it, you don't realize how much it takes a toll on someone. So I'm not going to judge Chloe in this particular instance, because we've seen this time and time again that they think one thing going in and it ends up being something completely different. So I mean, we just have to see. Now, like I said, I think actually Michael and Chloe make a really good couple. They're both very attractive. I know Michael is very into her. I think that she just needs to kind of work through whatever feelings that she has and try to step up to the plate and follow through. And we are back with Emily and Brennan. They are headed to the doctor to get Emily's stitches out. Emily ended up getting 35 stitches from that accident. I mean, that was a lot. Now, the doctors did tell her that if she didn't have on a helmet, she would not have made it. So, I mean, thank God for that. And now we are back with Austin, who is at a spa. He's going to do some meditating. He's talking about how the therapy session with the experts was emotionally exhausting, and I believe that it possibly was for him. It's hard to talk about those things especially when you're not stepping up to the plate. You feel like your partner is not stepping up to the plate, and you're just not meeting in the middle at all. So now Becca and Austin, they're still at the spa together, and they are in the hot tub, and Becca has one foot out of the tub with a sock on it. And I'm just curious, does she have a new tattoo? Like, she does have a tattoo on her foot. So I'm just trying to understand, is it new? And maybe she can't get it wet. Like, why is she sitting like this? But I'm going to tell you, this whole season, we have only seen Austin without that hat on one time for 2 minutes. He has had this hat on the entire season. I don't care what they're doing. This hat has not left his head but once. But the one time it did come off, he does have hair. Initially, I was thinking, he must not have no hair up there. So they both at this moment are just reaffirming each other, letting them know that they are committed to each other and to the process. They need to work on trusting each other, and they also need to work on their approach to each other. I do think ultimately they both have some insecurities about something. We don't know exactly what they're insecure about, but both of them have some insecurities that they need to work through. Day 11, Chloe and Michael. So we know that they have not been around each other, I believe, since day 7. And, when last Chloe was meeting with her friend, she did let her friend know, hey, this is what he's everything that I asked for. When I think about what I asked for, Michael is everything that I have asked for. Yeah, it's a little bit of things that, maybe that she does not prefer about him. For example, the fact that he kind of likes to wear her things, her jewelry, her clothes a little bit. I think those are some of the things that kind of bother her. But for the most part, Michael is everything that she has asked for. So as she was apart from Michael during this time, she realizes, I miss him. I miss him. So yeah, they're back reconnecting in the shared apartment. So the pets are meeting, and I'm saying pets because Michael, I believe, also has a cat. Either Michael or one of them have. Michael has a cat named Franklin, and so now we have the Chloe's puppy meeting Michael's puppy, and also the cat. And there was no aggressive behavior. We love that for them. And they're actually preparing for their home housewarming with their friends. They're having a 90s themed hip hop party. 8 days until decision day. And we're back in the shared apartment with Brennan and Emily. Now, Emily is about to start pushing her luck because she is feeling better. She actually looks much better, but she is still healing and she is restricted in her activities. And so Brennan is cleaning up the apartment, still making sure that she's taking it easy. And she is supervising. Emily, go lay down, girl, because Brennan is doing a fantastic job taking care of you. He's being super sweet with you right now at this moment. So don't push your luck, girl. Go sit down somewhere. Leave him alone. Let him do his thing, because I believe that he probably gonna switch it up in a minute if you don't. And they're just sitting having a little bit of dinner now, and they're just talking about how the accident really changed. Like it was a pivot point in this relationship. And they talk about how much they trust each other more. I really hope it continues because, coming from where they've come a long way, they have definitely come a long way. So we are back at Chloe and Michael's, and their friends are over for the 90s hip hop party, and they're asking, how is the marriage going? And Chloe is, being fully transparent, again, talking about the fact that she's an introvert and Michael is an extrovert. I, as well, am an introvert, and I do believe it is, you want to be in a relationship with an extrovert. It just makes things, you just balance each other out. So they are actually talking with Chloe, for example, is talking with Michael's family and friends. And I will say that the young lady that is there for Michael, the friend or family member, she is really side-eyeing Chloe. And, she just, of course, they want to make sure that the stranger that their friend or family member married is, going to treat them well and the right person. So she is definitely side-eyeing her like, okay, you took some time away and you're trying to over-explain this. And on the other side, we have Michael, where he always has just the right thing to say. He always knows exactly what to say. And I'm not saying he seems rehearsed. I'm just saying he just knows exactly what to say in every situation. So what Chloe has learned from her conversation with Michael's friends is that they are both people pleasers. And she says that's unfortunate. I don't know if that's unfortunate. Because in a way, then they will always make sure that their person is okay. I guess you don't want to always please other. You have to put yourself first sometimes, but at the same time, I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing that they put the other person before them. Drop down below and tell me what you think about it. We're down to 7 days until decision day, and we are back with Claire and Cameron, who we have not seen in quite a while. Now, we do know that Cameron has been sick for the last few episodes, so he hasn't even made an appearance. He's been recuperating at home, and Claire has been staying in the shared apartment, but she has also been going on the retreat and still being a part of the process here. Claire's mother is visiting her in the shared apartment. And during this time, we see that Cameron is actually meeting with Brennan at one of the local bars. Now, on the one hand, we have Claire and her mom, and they're discussing, the fact that she wants to be there for Cameron, but she feels like Cameron doesn't want her to be there. And her mom is trying to explain, she can kind of understand to the extent where when her mother experienced cancer, and how there were times where she just didn't want people to be around her. She wanted to kind of just be alone and isolate to herself. So in that sense, she does kind of understand where Cameron is coming from. And then we have Cameron as he's talking to Brennan. He's kind of talking about how, of course, Claire has still been in the process. So she has been talking to the other couples that are still in the process. And he feels like she may be trying to improve where she is with Cameron. However, Cameron dealing with the illness that he's dealing with, he's kind of been isolating. So he has not had the same level of conversations that Claire has had. And as he's talking to Brennan, he actually, it looks like he's having some symptoms of his illness as they speak about it. Now, I understand, you having to fulfill your end of the contract, but in this case, if he's really having this type of problems, he looks like he's having trouble breathing. And he actually said it does feel like he can't breathe, even though the problem is with his heart. It feels like he can't breathe and he can't talk for long before he has, a reaction. But if it's to this extent, I really think that they probably should not. I hope they're not forcing him to come on and do these segments for the show. And so Claire is continuing to talk about how great of a person Cameron is. And, she even goes on to say that she loves him as a person. But she doesn't think that husband and wife is the proper title for their relationship. And at this point, I have to agree with her because it initially I felt like Claire she was attracted to him. She did like him. I'm not sure what happened, but something happened where she started to pull back, which I think in turn made Cameron pull back. And they haven't had the opportunity to build that. Whatever happened, they haven't had the opportunity to put that back together. And so Cameron is saying that on decision day, if Claire says that she wants to stay together, then he's going to say that he also wants to stay together. And I bet you what they're going to do is ask him first and make him say, okay, what do you want? So what's he going to say? Because if he doesn't know how Claire feels, I don't think he would say yes. I really don't. Day 12 of marriage for Chloe and Michael. And it looks like they're going to do a fun event. They're going boxing, which I believe that Michael said that this is just something that he does. This is his second home. So Michael is saying that he is really enjoying seeing Chloe at the boxing ring. He's kind of teaching her how to stand, how to punch. And he said it is increasing his attraction to her. I don't think he needs any help in that area. I think he is already very attracted to Chloe. Chloe is beautiful. And Michael is too. Michael is very handsome. And in turn, Chloe says that she is very turned on by seeing Michael in the ring. So Chloe brings up the conversation that she has with Michael's friend about them letting her know that he was somewhat of a people pleaser, but he would not admit it. I don't know if he's a people pleaser or if to me, he just seems like a really genuine person. And again, is it such a bad thing to be a people pleaser? I mean, let's talk about it. Is that such a bad thing? To me, it's far more worse. I mean, there are far worse things you can be called than a people pleaser. Now, Brennan and Emily are having a Zoom call with the experts. And this is probably the first time, definitely since their accident, that Emily had, that they are actually meeting with the experts. Well, initially, the experts are just trying to, make sure that number one, Emily is okay from the accident. And also not just Emily, but Brennan, because, he did witness this horrific accident, and just making sure that, I guess, mentally they're both okay. Number one, physically for Emily, that she is okay. And she has said, since they've been on the Zoom call on more than one occasion, that this could have went the other way. She could have not made it. And I think that has really put a new perspective for her on not just this process, but on life in general. She definitely has a new outlook
on things, but so does Brennan. And I really hope that this really does bring them closer and closer and closer together, because they are handling this so well now. And that really brings us to the close of this week's episode of Married at First Sight. You know, drop down in the comments and let me know what you guys thought of the episode. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And we will see you next time. Bye.